Your cat's eating like crazy, but keeps losing weight? That's not just age, it could be hyperthyroidism. This hidden disease speeds up everything, even the kidneys. Here's how to spot it early and save your cat's life.
You know the scene, right? Your older cat seems to be eating you out of house and home, yet they're getting thinner and thinner. And you're just left wondering what on earth is going on. Okay, let's dive into this because it's a super common story and honestly, it's a real medical mystery. And this is what so many of us think. We see that ravenous appetite and we just chalk the weight loss up to old age. I mean, it seems to make sense, but it's an assumption that often misses a really crucial piece of the puzzle. Yeah, because what if that crazy appetite isn't a sign of a healthy, hungry cat, but it's actually a symptom of a body that's, well, working against itself? This right here is the central paradox. A cat that's eating more than ever before, but just seems to be wasting away. This isn't just getting old. No way. This is a classic, textbook sign that something deeper is at play. And you might be surprised just how common this is. We're talking about 1 in 10. Veterinary studies show this condition affects about 1 in every 10 cats over the age of 10. Just think about that for a second. The condition we're talking about is feline hyperthyroidism. So what is actually happening inside the body to create this whole hungry but skinny paradox? Let's get into it. Okay, so think of your cat's metabolism like it's a car engine. In a healthy cat, that engine just idles along nice and smooth. But with hyperthyroidism, an overactive thyroid gland starts flooding the body with a hormone called thyroxine, or T4. It is literally like slamming the accelerator to the floor and just leaving it there. That engine is constantly redlining. And when that engine is running so hot, it causes a whole bunch of other symptoms. The cat's drinking and urinating way more. Maybe they have vomiting or diarrhea. And they can seem almost hyperactive, just restless. You might also notice their coat looks messy and they're losing muscle. Now, if you're looking at this list and thinking, wait a minute, that sounds like something else I've heard of in older cats, you are exactly right. And that brings us to the absolute core of this medical mystery. You see, hyperthyroidism is a master of disguise, and it very often has an accomplice, another really common condition in older cats called chronic kidney disease. The challenge becomes crystal clear when you see these symptoms side by side. Weight loss? Check. Increased thirst and urination? Check. Vomiting? Check. I mean, the lists are almost identical. It's an incredibly frustrating puzzle, not just for owners, but for veterinarians too. So here's the first major plot twist. That metabolic engine that's in overdrive, well, it's increasing blood flow to everywhere in the body, and that includes the kidneys. This artificially boosts their function, which can make blood tests look totally normal or even better than they really are. So the hyperthyroidism is effectively wearing a mask, hiding kidney disease that's lurking just underneath. But, and this is wild, it works the other way too. The stress from a chronic illness, like kidney disease, can actually suppress the thyroid hormone levels in the body. So you could get a thyroid test that comes back looking completely normal, even when the cat is truly hyperthyroid. It's a frustrating two-way masking effect. And this isn't some rare occurrence. A key study from the University of Sao Paulo's veterinary hospital found that a staggering 46.2%, we're talking nearly half, of hyperthyroid cats also had chronic kidney disease. These two conditions are very, very often a package deal. Okay, so with all this masking and overlapping symptoms going on, how in the world do veterinarians solve the puzzle and get to an accurate diagnosis? Well, it's really a multi-step investigation. It starts with a physical exam, where the vet can often actually feel an enlarged thyroid gland in the cat's neck. That's called a goiter. They'll check blood pressure, which is often high with both conditions, but the real key is doing a combination of blood tests, a total T4 test specifically for the thyroid hormone, alongside a full workup of blood and urine to get the true story on how the kidneys are doing. Now, once the case is cracked and the diagnosis is confirmed, the really good news is there are several effective ways to manage the condition. Let's take a look at the 4 main options. So the gold standard is often radioactive iodine, or I-131, which can actually cure the disease with just a single shot. Then you've got daily medications, surgery to remove the gland itself, and even a special iodine-restricted diet.
Each one of these has its own pros and cons, and the best choice really depends on the specific cat's overall health, especially their kidney function.
A very common starting point is medical management with a drug called methimazole. It works by just blocking the thyroid gland from producing too much of that T4 hormone. Now, it isn't a cure, but it does control the disease. And here's the most important part. It's reversible, and that's a huge deal for cats who might have hidden kidney issues. But if we're talking about a cure, radioactive iodine is highly effective. Data from that same University of São Paulo study showed that when I-131 was used as the very first treatment, it was more successful at getting T4 levels back to normal. We're talking almost 47% of those cats fell into the ideal range, compared to about 33% who started on medication first.
But here is the crucial point we have to come back to. When you treat the hyperthyroidism and that metabolic engine finally slows down, the artificial boost to the kidneys just disappears. This can unmask the true state of their kidney function. That's why any treatment has to be done carefully, with constant careful monitoring to protect those kidneys.
And all of that leads us to the final, and maybe the most important part of this whole story, your role in all of this.
This is so important to remember. Your veterinarian, they lead the team, but you are on the front lines. You see your cat every single day, and your observations are absolutely invaluable.
So, how can you be a star player? By being a super diligent observer. You're going to monitor their appetite, their weight, their behavior. You're going to track how much water they're drinking and what's going on in that litter box. You're going to be absolutely consistent with any medication or diet. And critically, you are never going to miss a follow-up vet appointment. They are essential for monitoring both the thyroid and the kidneys.
So we end right back where we started, with this one question. The next time you see an older cat who's always hungry but losing weight, you'll know. You'll know that it's hardly ever just old age. It's a sign. It's a sign that it is definitely time for a closer look.
Act early. Save love.